We pursue you anymore? Well, first of all, I never did. If I was interested, I asked. If you said no, that was the end of it, as it should be. But why doesn't no mean no the other way around? Like, we can't go to the gym. Even a Chad, even the guys that you think are so dreamy, can't go to the gym and work out without being treated like there's some kind of a perv, or having to be afraid that they're going to be treated like there's some kind of a perv. Yeah, what point do we have in doing anything for you? Anything that we do is called misogynistic. Yes, you want to be pursued, apparently, just not by a real human being. Your expectations are so off in fucking Neverland. Yes, you want a simp with lots of money who will beat people up who insult you. Okay, we get it. Based on your words and based on your actions, we have taught women to do one thing and say another. We have also taught women how to play off of bias. We don't teach boys this because boys don't get that bias. What we get is you just need to man up and take it. When it comes to protecting people and saving lives and finding missing people, it takes boots on the ground. It takes people actually getting actively involved. When Rebecca Gross-Nickel Foley disappeared, I could have just stayed in Nebraska. When I found out she was missing, I was almost out of Nebraska. I was already on my way to go see her, and I could have gone, you know what, she doesn't matter. Who knows what would have happened then. Thing is, I wasn't going to let people just hurt her. Now, there's two other people that are missing here that I'm aware of, certain of, that were going to help me in my situation with Natalie. And that would be David and Katie Saltzman of Beaverton, Oregon. They're not the only people missing either. There are a couple other people from this town that are missing. Two of them have been found safe, which is good. One of them is safely in Colorado. She got her kids. She got herself a job. She's doing her best. But if you guys know anything about Colorado, especially Larimer County, Boulder County, these are two of the most corrupt counties in the entire state. I was in 5 of the 8 most corrupt counties in Colorado. Can you imagine what a fun time I had at those departments? And then ever since then, I've gotten to see in the news over and over and over again the world's worst crimes committed by officers of the law in those very counties, hospital workers in those very counties, as well as hospitals themselves, not just the workers, but the hospitals themselves being canned for exactly what I told you they were doing. But you don't want to listen to a homeless person. That resulted in multiple people ending up dead. A lot of people are dead now. Like the sheer number of bodies, That alone is enough to pick a guy up on. Here's the problem. They can't pick me up on any of those bodies because I wasn't anywhere near any of them, except for Natalie's. When Natalie was shot in the head, I was close enough to hear it. They picked a good spot to do it in. It was a cold night, so the sound carried well, too. I didn't realize how close to Macintosh Dairy that Miss Peaches lived until I had to try to find her place, her old place, without my phone working. I did end up getting lost. I was trying to charge up my electronics. That's a constant need out here. All this stuff that they want us to do with our electronics, we have to have functional electronics to do that. That means we have to have a battery, or we have to be able to plug it in if our battery doesn't work. And even if it has a battery, it'll need to be plugged in eventually. Got to have internet and a place to organize it. People keep going back and forth and not trying for even a moment to listen to me, to understand. For them, it's all simple stuff without any problems, because all of these people are living in situations where they have access to those things. Do you stop to consider that homeless people don't have access to the things that you consider the most basic? Like the ability to take a shit or take a piss when you need to without walking 4 blocks? Or even a couple of miles in some situations? Or you got to take a shit on the side of the road, you're breaking the law. Better not get busted. So there's lots of guys out here that you're not fucking interested in. They're the guys that you snub your nose at. You don't care how much that nose snubbing is hurtful to others. How does it feel when people do it to you? Not very good. Why would you want to do that to others? At least my anger is directed at the right people. The people directly responsible. The people who made the decisions. If you make a decision to intentionally withhold information, especially in the case of an at-risk or disabled adult, you've broken the law. You've committed a felony at that point. That is actually a felony. Failure to report as a mandated reporter is only a misdemeanor with a fine of up to $300. This is going to cost a lot more than $300, though. Alright, my engine should be cooled down enough. I can hopefully put in some antifreeze. Everything that we're told is toxic masculine. Well, we get to see how pretty boys, every day, pretty boys are allowed to do those things. You swoon and eat it up when a pretty boy does those things. So what you really mean is that those things are just not okay for ugly men. But you'll make a compromise if he's got money. That's nuts. You really think Anna Nicole Smith married that old man because she was in love with him? Of course not. You know how gold digging works. You're not stupid. But we're supposed to act stupid, aren't we? Pretend like it doesn't really happen. There's a lot of people who, well, like right now with that Jason Aldean feller, want to talk about how it's not okay to do that with the Jason Aldean song because so many people are listening to gangster rap that's worse. Well, no, it ain't. That's first and foremost. And second of all, country music did that to rock and roll when rock and roll first came out. A lot of hatred about it being colored people music. How fucked up is that? We got this Jason Aldean. What I'm pissed off about is this dude is so fucking ingrained in his head that small towns is a certain way. No, they ain't. If you a pampered fucking white boy with lots of money and lots of fame, oh yeah, a small town is beautiful. All it is to you is beautiful women and fucking streaming as far as the eye can see. Well, good for you. Good for you. You get to live the American dream. Well, at least close enough. Your version of it. Now, I said, they got gangster rap that's like that, so I probably shouldn't complain about Mr. Aldean. Well, I'm going to tell you what. I do complain about that kind of rap. And the idiots who glorify it. Like, if you're going to glorify all that murder and hate, you want to talk about all the pain you went through. Well, what kind of pain and why? Why are you going through it? Why should you have to? Anyway, this whole situation with being told how to think and how to feel, having the rules be completely different for me than they are for somebody who's 6 foot tall and dark skinned and well muscled. I get that you're not going to let me get away with the things that you let him get away with. See, I'm not the guy you fall in love with. I'm the guy that you use when you need something, and when you don't need him, you throw him back in your toolbox. He's one of them nice guys who's going to show up and be your knight in shining armor every time. Well, you know what? Some of us are being knight in shining armor to a lot of other people, too. And you know what? Some of us need a knight in shining armor ourselves. I'm tired of the bodies piling up. I'm tired of the people who know what's up telling me what's up, but nobody else. Not working together, just table talking. If you're telling me, but you ain't telling the police or the courts, you're gaslighting, motherfucker. Guys aren't pursuing you anymore because we could go to fucking prison for it. That's why they're not pursuing you. They don't want to go to prison for looking your fucking direction, let alone hitting on you. You have made it so that the only men who are willing to approach you are the ones who don't give a shit about your boundaries. And that's nobody's fault but your own. See, there are all these men who are beating on you, and all these men who are raping you and molesting your kids, and you keep going back to those men. And the guys who rescued your ass time and time again, even your own families, you threw away your own families in many cases. For what? For a dude who beats on you and rapes you because he's good looking and you're in love with him. Holy shit. We can't just blame it on you. Your parents are the one that shot you on the playground. Oh, he only hit you because he likes you. So now there's no consequences for that boy who hit you, is there? And you think he likes you. No, that don't mean he likes you. Chances are pretty good that if he hits you on the playground, he wants you to leave him alone. He wants you to go away. He's being territorial, as he's been trained to be. Boys are taught at a very young age that we're supposed to protect girls. We're supposed to protect women. We're supposed to protect children. So we try our best. Well, I got quite a bit to go, quite a bit of work to do. Still no place to do it. I did the best that I could with what I had today. Kind of sounds like CCR. Alright. Let's hope I can get out of my vehicle and put some fluids in my car. I hate my life. My friends could have done something to help. All they needed to do was listen. That's not a complicated thing to do. But apparently it was beyond any of their capabilities. They couldn't stop talking about themselves long enough to even find out what was going on. And many of them wanted to bully me afterwards. I'm like, oh, hell no. I know how to bully. I'm not an idiot. I grew up being bullied. I also know how to bully others back. I don't like it, but you know what? If it's the only option left, it's the only option left. There are a lot of people who are mad at me for going public with what I knew. Going public with my recordings. But you know what? Those people didn't make the phone calls with me to turn that shit in. They wasted my time. And they wasted people's innocent lives while they were at it. All these people want to tell me, oh, Sean, I don't have to look at the evidence. I don't have to look at the evidence, Sean. I know you're telling the truth. Really? Then fucking come forward with me, you pieces of shit. But did they do that? No. What does it matter what other people think? Well, because I'm being harmed over what other people think, dummy. If it was just words, it wouldn't be a fucking issue. I can handle mean words. But it's not just mean words. And as far as mean words go, it's mass quantities of mean words. I protect people because it's the right thing to do. Because it's the right thing to do. But then I got so many people wanting to talk me into being a coward. I'm just not capable of being sissified like you guys. I'm capable of making a strategic withdrawal, but that don't mean the battle's over. And I'm wholeheartedly willing to give my life to protect the lives of others. I've shown that time and again. When I attempted to kill myself in January of 2018, it was to try to protect my friends and loved ones. And they were letting me know people were threatening to kill them, threatening to kill their families, threatening to kill their kids. You just don't do that. I just kept it up. There was a guy over here playing some CCR earlier. Yeah. I got a question. Is that thing working well enough that if I can't get my car started, you might be able to give me a jump?
Yeah. Yeah, no problem.
Nice.
Got a new battery in it, so yeah.
Lucky buzzard. I got 2 batteries in that thing.
Yeah?
Yeah. One of them in there and one of them on my floorboards in the front. Makes it easy to not have to pick up passengers.
There you go.
I'm not going to try starting it for about another 5 minutes. I'll make sure it cools down all the way. Oh, I was talking to the guy in the other Honda. Yes, sir. Thank you. Oh, the Tiger 1, that thing is massive. A battle of Midway.
Have you seen these ear-ringing insights from the
No, I haven't.
focal laser microscope? Pioneering neurology. December 7th, 1941. As President Franklin D. Roosevelt would later attribute it, a day that would live in infamy. The largest and most powerful carrier force ever assembled, flying under the flag of the Imperial Japanese Navy, struck the American naval base at Pearl Harbor in Hawaii. The attack catches the United States of America completely off guard, and the U.S. Navy's Pacific Fleet is decimated, save for their aircraft carriers, which, by a stroke of luck, were out of the harbor at the time of the attack. Over the coming months, the Japanese Navy appears invincible as it powers through the Pacific Ocean, destroying American, Australian, and British warships, as well as anyone else who stands in their way. But the legendary Japanese Admiral Yamamoto knows that as long as the American carriers remain, they are still at risk of a reversal of their fortunes. Thus, he decides to set a trap for them, using a bait he knows the Americans won't ignore. His target is a small atoll positioned roughly halfway between Japan and North America. This is the story of the Battle of Midway. Today's episode was sponsored by Raid Shadow Legends. From small-scale skirmishes to precision-planned large-scale battles, war is complex, detailed, and can often hinge on the actions and decisions of one person. We cover a lot of different battles and historical events on this channel. Did you ever think that you would have chosen a different tactic? With that in mind, we're excited to share a game where you will absolutely need to come up with your own strategies.
I was more interested in history. Alright, so I'm going to tell you what bugs me the most about being homeless. I see a lot of horrible things. A lot of horrible things. I also got to see a lot of people out here that are on drugs or drunk all the time. I get to see that if there's somebody getting help from somebody who's sober, a husband or a wife or a boyfriend or a girlfriend, there's one of them who's sober and one of them who's not. Anywhere that I go, I end up having to park somewhere that a lot of other people are parking at that are homeless. And some of those people are real good people. Some of those people were wonderful people before they were forced to do desperate things. But some of those people are nasty perverts. Some of those people are up to no good. And can't nobody look at a person and tell if they're one of them kind of people or one of the other. So it ends up where there's a lot of people out here who aren't doing anything wrong, anything mean, anything evil. anything harmful to anybody. But every Karen out there's got to worry, right? Isn't that what we keep stuffing in the media? Everybody's got to worry about the mentally ill. Meanwhile, I was down at the newspaper yesterday. Lady come in to renew her subscription. And she started, well, talking about the same stuff that I do. They write down the word mentally ill, even if you just had a little bit of anxiety once about having your teeth pulled. That's right. The dentist wrote down mentally ill. You get all doped up on their pills or their Novocaine, that stuff would dope you up too. Then they yank out your teeth. Some people don't know what's going on. Me, I had a different reaction when I got the injections when they pulled out 22 teeth. 6 of those they had to pull out live. But it didn't make me all dopey and stupid like it does with a lot of people. Some people, as soon as they got that in their jaw, they start speaking in tongues. Or at least it sounds like that. There's also a lot of places where, of course, just like anywhere else, people walk by a homeless person with their kids. And they say, you stay away from those people. Those people. A parent will stop with their kid and give them a preaching about what a homeless person will do to you. Meanwhile, homeless people account for 0.18% of our population, and they account for 61% of those killed by police, 81% of those incarcerated nationwide. Meanwhile, who's most likely to beat you? Your mother. 80% of the time when a child was molested, it was one or the other parent. 90% of the time, it was a family member. An additional 9% are family friends, teachers, nurses, people with positions of power. Only 1 in 1,000 is a stranger. Imagine that. Only 1 in 1,000 is a stranger. Alright, I'm going to try to give my car a start. I checked the fluids. It's got fluids in it. There's no reason it should be overheating. The sun's going down and it's starting to cool off. Alright, so let's try out my key. And find the screwdriver, I guess. Or my scissors. My scissors work. Wish me luck. People don't want us anywhere. The only places we're sort of allowed to park in public. Well, people are still going to complain and the cops are going to come harass us and let us know. parking lots. Only a few days at a time per parking lot if you really have to push it. Anyway, I'm gonna end this video and I guess charge up my battery a little bit. That's pretty important. Say goodbye. What we had. The good times made us laugh. I thought we'd get to see forever, but forever gone away. It's so hard to say goodbye to this place. And I'll take with me the memories. Be my sunshine after the rain. It's so hard to say goodbye to yesterday. All right. I butchered that song the way Hendrix butchered the national anthem. Loved his music. Hated his rendition of the national anthem. That was a thorough butchering. Alright, what else we gotta do before I get started? Come on now. Still a lot easier to do before I overheat. If I can find it. Yeah, the thing is that none of these people who are asking me if I can do it in my car, why don't they take a look at my fucking car? That's one of the things that, you would think that any fucking retard would be able to figure out, even without mandated reporter training. Maybe you should take a look at the fucking condition somebody's living in before you expect them to do the fucking impossible. Well, everybody should be able to do that. Should. I don't live in fucking perfect. And I don't know where the nearest Walgreens is. Any of y'all who get the reference and seeing the commercial. Any of y'all who don't probably think I'm crazy for saying any such thing. Alright, well. There's a tiny little piece I need. If only I could find it. Here's the thing, small towns tend to look away from corruption. Your rights mean nothing in a place like this, or a place like Chapel, Nebraska. With that popularity, you mean nothing to any of them. Small towns are the dirtiest places that I can think of ever living. If you love your kids, but you move to a small town, you really love your kids. Or are you just trying to say that a small town is a better place to live because you are broke and embarrassed because you're broke? You live in America and people always telling you how ashamed you should be when you're broke. How you should have done this with your money and you should have done that with your money. And it's about what you did with your money, and really it's not. It comes down to the fact that it's so incredibly easy to overwhelm somebody like this, especially when they're broke. Alright. Better get back down to mixed sporting goods, I guess.
That is Raid Shadow Legends. Raid Shadow Legends is an amazing mobile game that lets you delve into the tactics of battles, choose your own powerful champions, and take part in both PvP and PvE battles. It's also their 4th anniversary, and Raid Shadow Legends posed us the question, which 4 champions would we choose to invite to a dinner party? After mulling it over, and since we get to choose the cream of...
Here we go.
This is Kyle. He invented One Wheel.
What the fuck?
To destroy boredom. Turns out he wasn't. Prior to the outbreak of the Second World War, naval planners were still debating on just what role the aircraft carrier would play in future wars fought at sea. This resulted in most navies being split into one of 2 camps. The first being that naval aircraft would remain primarily in an extension of the existing battle fleet, finding enemy fleets and weakening them prior to the battleships going in, which would remain the final word in naval warfare. Aircraft would of course also have to fend off enemy aircraft trying to do the same. However, some argue that naval aircraft were advancing at a rapid rate and their firepower had enormous potential to affect the course of a battle, and thus the days of the battleship being the main instrument of naval warfare were now over. Of all the great navies, Japan probably took the most balanced approach in its shipbuilding program. While the US and Great Britain were content with modernizing many of their dreadnoughts built up to the end of World War I, Japan continued to build more modern battleships, culminating, of course, in the awe-inspiring Yamato class of ships, despite international treaties that tried to limit the construction of such vessels. At the same time, the Imperial Japanese Navy also built up the largest carrier force in the world, with 4 light and 6 fleet carriers by 1941, and these were backed up by long-range, land-based twin-engined torpedo bombers. Masterminding this naval aviation construction program was Admiral Yamamoto, himself having a background in naval gunnery before realizing aircraft were the future. Thus, when Yamamoto was tasked with conceiving of a plan to attack the US naval base at Pearl Harbor, Hawaii, at the forefront of his mind was destroying the 3 US fleet carriers stationed there: the Enterprise CV-6, the Lexington CV-2, and the Saratoga CV-3. Yet despite his task force, commanded by Vice Admiral Nagumo, enjoying total surprise on the morning of December 7th, 1941, by an incredible stroke of luck for the Americans, all 3 carriers were not present, being engaged on other duties. Saratoga was in San Diego, having recently completed an overhaul. Enterprise and its escorts were delivering fighter aircraft island, while Lexington was delivering aircraft to the then relatively little-known island of Midway. No one could deny that Japanese aircraft inflicted terrible losses on the US Pacific Fleet's battleships that infamous Sunday morning. However, for Yamamoto, it was a job half done, without the US carriers having also been taken out of the equation. This, he knew, would make the crucial next stage of the resulting war in the Pacific all the more difficult for Japan. Before December 1941, Yamamoto had warned his superiors that in his estimation, Japan would have 6 months after the start of hostilities with which to